So we're excited to come with you, and we wanted to talk about a couple of things. Can you tell them a little bit about what's up?
Yes, there was a video that was released last week talking about the 3 things people are not talking about, which are
the recession, the market crash, and actually inflation. Stuff is getting more expensive, guys.
Yes. So we want to talk today about recession.
We're gonna talk about the recession. Yeah, it is. Okay, so I saw an article today, and I found it interesting. Actually, we Googled it. I don't know if we can flip the computer, but it's on Bloomberg, by the way. Bloomberg says Microsoft, Google are the latest tech giants to hit the brakes on hiring. After years of bulking up, the industry is bracing for recession. And it says Apple plans to slow down the hiring next year, according to people familiar with the matter. And it says with recession fears mounting and inflation, the war in Ukraine and lingering pandemic taking a toll on many tech companies and rethinking about staffing needs. And with some of them instituting hiring freezes, rescinding offers, and even started with layoff. And the first thing that popped into my mind is, we've been through this before, right?
Yes.
And so, and actually, I remember that day. I remember that day where you were supposed to be at work, and you said, she sends me a picture. Okay, she sends me a picture in a restaurant having apple juice. For lack of a better example.
I got fired and I went drinking.
Yeah, that's literally what happened, right? So I remember going through that because it was a scary time for a minute there. We had to figure out how to adjust, especially in a household that you come with 2 incomes, and one day you show up to work, and what happened?
So back in 2008, I was working in hotels. Yeah, it was. I was working back then in hotels, reservations, and I go to work a normal day, and just to find out that my position was being closed, or I was let go. Those are the nice words.
Yeah. She was fired.
I was fired, and then that's what's happening today all over again. You start seeing it, especially this month. Everybody's talking about it, but this month there's a lot of articles. Actually, if you go and Google, "Are we in a recession?" you're gonna find all the articles, everything that talks about. So I wanted to ask you, what does it mean to be in a recession? What happens to the economy?
So, well, there's a couple of things. Big companies like that start slowing the hiring process, and it just triggers a bunch of different things. One, being there's less spending out, which means that there's less people buying, and especially because there's less. Oh my goodness, I'm a little caught up. Anyway, but there's less people buying, and so what that does, in addition to the inflation, things getting more expensive, it just creates a whole mess. And what we're trying to do, and one of the things that is important, is how can you stay ahead of this process? And that was the things that popped into my mind, because I remember, I never wanted to have that phone call again. And so one of the biggest blessings that we have, by the way, we kind of lived it through the pandemic, especially us being in the hospitality industry. A couple of people were like, we're on vacation forever, right? And so we lived that through the pandemic, and I was kind of like, but it wasn't as is happening right now. There was nobody is locked down, everything is open, but there's a lot of people right now that are like concerned about jobs slowing down, losing their job, and layoffs and things. And so one of the decisions that you made, I remember that you mentioned, is like, I want to make sure that I keep control of my life.
Yeah. No, and you said there's a lot of people concerned. Actually, I don't think it's even that. There's a lot of people not concerned. There's a lot of people that are not aware of what's happening.
That's true.
There's a lot of people that it's going to happen like me. They're going to show up one day. They're going to find out through an email. They're going to find out through the website that the company is slowing down. They're stop hiring. They're letting go of some people. There's many companies already as of today, this month, that they've been announcing that they're cutting off labor. So for me, one of the biggest thing is people don't know, and they're going to be in a surprise. And yes, I said back then, I don't want to be ever in this situation ever again. So I wanted to do something different, and the recessions, you know, markets going up, down happens all the time.
It's a cycle.
It is a cycle. So I knew it was going to happen again. So a lot of people think there was a recession in 2020.
No, that was
the pandemic. That economy got affected. Yes. But there was no recession, and so now.
Sorry, but it's like there was a lot of money thrown at the economy. So a lot of people didn't feel it because there was a lot of money being put out there by the government, which helped back then. But right now, things getting more expensive is a direct result
of that.
There's not
going to be any money.
And there's not going to be any money
from anywhere or anyone. But I do remember 2020, I have a lot of people, so I was already out of hospitality, restaurants, but a lot of people, a lot of my friends, they will, every week I will talk to them, and they were like, oh, they let go 10 people today. Oh, you know, I'm in temporary leave. Hey, they should call me back. I was sent home. They said they will call me back for
anytime now.
Yeah. They said it was like, you know, you remember pandemic was what, April, May? And it was like, I don't know when I'm going to hear back from them, probably in October, November, when it started busy season.
By the way, we're in Florida, and it was completely different because Florida was open back up in about September. Yeah,
right.
So
it was just people
done with the pandemic.
People not being able to travel that affected us the most. So I was able to get out of that industry and position ourselves on something different.
So choosing entrepreneurship is one of the ways of getting ahead. It's like, for now, it's like, how can you actually go through a process like this without being affected? And not only that, guys, it's like, how can you get ahead? Forget about like, okay, I'm concerned. Instead of living in fear, is how can you advance the process? One of the things that that we say is pick up a side hustle, right? Make additional income. It's not saying, look, if your job hasn't let you go, don't go picking a fight. You know what I'm saying? But definitely start a side hustle so that you can make extra income. One, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on sale. There's going to be a lot of stuff, you know, people that are overexpending, that are over leveraged, that they can actually have they won't be able to keep up with what they purchased. And so guess what? A lot of these things are going to be going on sale. The benefit is the person that was disciplined, the person that didn't overspend, the person that has a little bit of savings, especially if you become a side hustle, you'll have the opportunity to make some moves in the future and not just make it through it, but actually get ahead. So that's one of the things that I would say. You know, I know that for you, you wanted to have control. Because I didn't go through it. I lived it on the other side. But how was that process of losing control for you? Being like, hey, you know.
Well, number one, it's very scary. A lot of uncertainty of what's going to happen. How is income going to? So I can't tell you, you know, exactly what happened right there. I can tell you right now, looking back, why should I hope I would have done better in order for me to, you know, to position yourself on in case that you get this situation that you know, like if you do have a job, there's nothing that is 100%. If you own a business, you know, it also depends, because we saw a lot of business closing in the last 2 years because you know, things that happen with pandemic, you know, and so how can you position yourself? I like that side hustle, which only means that, you know, make some extra income. For me, looking back, I would have 100% invested in me, meaning education, meaning different skills. And I'm not talking about education going back to school.
No college, not getting into debt.
I'm not talking about that type of education, because it's like, how do you're trying to get out of debt, right?
Get another BS, bachelor's.
You're trying to save some money or something. That's not going to happen if you go back to school.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
I'm not saying school is not important. I'm just saying in this case, you know, I was out of college many years. I didn't want to go back to college and start all over, if you know what I mean. So investing in yourself, education, but most importantly, skills. Okay, what skills are
that are relevant today?
So they talk about industries that are recession proof, like anything on the health side, anything on, you know, like especially like life insurance, finance. It's like those are things that are, you know, it doesn't matter what happens, you're still gonna get an income. Save more money, right? Because a lot of people say, hey, I don't have enough money to save. You know, I have my paycheck, living paycheck to paycheck. But if you don't change anything, nothing is going to change. So it starts by you making some extra. I was working the other day with somebody that said, hey, no, I work from 8 to 5. And we were meeting, it was like 8:30, 9 p.m. And I was like, okay. And from 5 to 11 or from 5 to midnight, you build your business. You build your, you know, that other business or side hustle, however you want to call it. But knowing that you're going to make income so you can start moving and eventually even replace it. A lot of people that are at work today, they're not happy. And it's like, okay, how can you replace that, making yourself that you put into a position, whatever it is, that you get some stability.
Right, because that's how you started. You got another job afterwards, and it wasn't until a couple of years after that we actually found this industry, that we found the life insurance industry. So it's not like get out and start building a business and you know, and do it, which you can totally do, but more important than that is just saying, do it at the same time, and later you have the opportunity to call the shots and say, you know what, instead of you letting go of me, I'm gonna let go of you. And that's literally right.
Fire my boss.
Fire your boss.
You know, that was my goal. Yeah. And it took me a long time, but I did.
Because you were having too much fun.
I liked it.
Yeah, she was having too much fun on her job.
But I knew I didn't want to do that forever.
Right.
I knew that income I was making back then, it wasn't close to being enough. So I wanted to make sure that I was personally developing myself. I wanted to make sure that I was learning new things that I could use, right? A lot of people don't like sales, but sales is the #1 skill that you need in life for everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, how can I learn?
You sell your kid into eating broccoli.
Yes,
Sorry.
You're always selling. And people don't know how important that is until you're finding that position. So it's like you have two options. You either start on a part-time basis, so you start, you know, you don't have to drop whatever you're doing, or wait till you get dropped from whatever it is that you're doing, and then you have to go. I will always say, you know, find that stable thing that is going to keep you making some money right away, like what we call like immediate gratification, because that will give you peace of mind that you have some money coming in, pay the bills, but always like focus on, okay, what do I need to do in order for you know, have my own business, or, you know, entrepreneur, right, making additional money, or, you know, whatever it is that is going to take you out of that situation, or is going to advance you on a way that you don't have to wait to see what happens. Yeah. That's it.
Right now we're at a time where we actually don't have to, like, we don't depend on a job or anything like that. Like, this is our business. We actually have been able to build our business. We've been on our own, right, as 100% entrepreneurs for like 5, 6, almost 7 years now. You know, so it's like, at some point, that's the future, right? The future is start on a side hustle and then make it your full-time business if you really enjoy it. So that's an invitation, right? So there's a couple of things. The first one, start something, start producing additional income, that's for sure. Grow a set of skills, right? So that you have the opportunity to get better and do something that makes you more marketable, that makes you better in the business place. And even this set of skills can actually help you land a better job, right? There's entrepreneurs and there's intrapreneurs, people that help grow businesses. The third one, save, you know. Fourth, I would say, don't go at it alone. One of the benefits that we have is that we build teams. So we have the opportunity to be part of a community, so that we're processing. We're talking to our agents, right, and our coaches as well. We're processing, okay, how can we actually leverage what's happening in the real estate market, in the stock market? How can we learn from it so we don't make the same mistakes? And in addition to that, how can we get ahead of it, right? How can we actually build wealth? How can we add the additional zero? But all of that is happening because of associations. All of that is happening because we're part of a community. And then the last one is, whatever it is that you do, don't stay still, right? There's 3 types of communities right now There's the camp, right, that is actually just Netflix and chilling. They don't know what's going on. We were in that camp, right? In no way, it was just, it happened to us and we had no clue what was happening in the market. There's the one. The second group of people is the actually ones that they made a ton of money. They said, I don't want to be in this position again. And from then on, they actually made a ton of money. They saved up. They have some cash so that they can actually grow, right, and get some assets. And then the third one is those that is like, I don't like what's happening. I know that I got to make a change. I don't know what to do. That is the conversation. Like, reach out to us. Like, let's go ahead and talk. Let's see. Look, I don't want to be in a position that if I'm laid off, I don't have any income. I want to grow my skills. I want to be part of a community so I don't go at it alone. And so the invitation is that. It's just saying, hey, why don't we go ahead, take some baby steps, learn new industries, new markets, so that we have the opportunity to develop and grow and stay ahead. That's pretty much.
Yeah, that's much it. That's it. What we wanted to share. Just to recap, so making sure that you get something on the side. You start, a hustle that this is for people that maybe are not content of what's happening right now at the job. Maybe they need an extra income. Maybe they need, right? So they're looking for something. This is not for everybody. If you're happy and
you know it, clap your hands.
Yes. But position yourself with new skills. Invest in yourself, in your education. Read books. Get around the right people. Yep. Get a coach. Now, get a coach that is having success in what they're doing. And they have helped people already to achieve the same thing. There's a lot of coaches out there. I'm not saying just get a coach that says it's a coach. No, follow somebody that can teach you how they're doing what they're doing. If you buy the advice, you buy the lifestyle. So be careful with that. And at the end, put your ego aside and say, you know what, maybe I do need a little bit of help. Maybe I do need something different. I know a lot of people, especially today, that is like, no, everything is great, everything, I don't need any help, everything, and a big surprise is coming down the road.
Yeah, well, for me, babe, one of the things that I learned is that if you process with no one, you'll get nowhere. And God knows we spend a lot of time, I spend a lot of time not processing issues, not processing decisions with anybody, let alone with the right people. And we were stuck there for a little bit. So grateful that we have mentorship, from people like Marvin and Dee, Patrick and Jennifer, but David, and everybody in the PHP organization, that we have the opportunity to say, wow, that is the coach, that is the lifestyle that we want, and we have the opportunity to follow and ask questions and believe it.
So let us know what are some topics that you want to know about. What are some of the things that you're interested of understanding a little bit better, or maybe we can break it down and put it in a simple way.
And what are your biggest takeaways? You may actually agree or disagree with what we say. If you agree or disagree, drop it in the comments. I love to be able to create some communication down there.
All right.
That sounded weird.
Yes.
Bye.